Hey everyone, it's Nelson Miller here with PA Creative. This week I'm looking at the new Divi 5 interface changes. So I'm going to be playing around on the live demo site that Elegant Themes has set up and just sharing all of the things from my own personal experience that I see, pointing out changes, making comments, and yeah, just giving you kind of a tour of the new interface. All right, so you can start by hopping over to our website. I have that linked in the description on YouTube. So what I do with all my videos, as you know, if you're a subscriber, is I always have a blog post that's written with screenshots that you can follow along. All right, so basically what I'm going to be doing is actually just looking at this demo. And this demo is available at demo.elegantthemes.com. And if you need to go there directly, you can put in a question mark and then ET_FB=1. All right, or if you don't want to do that, head on over to the Elegant Themes blog and you could type into their search on the blog, try the Divi 5 alpha demo. All right, and then here is a button and that takes you to this demo. Now, one thing I'll say right away, for me personally, I kind of think I want to zoom in the browser, especially maybe for the video, to 125%, just so we can see things a little better. I'm not sure if I would always keep it there or not, but for this video, I think it will help. So there you go. You can see some things are very obviously different right from the start, but let me just give some disclaimers. So this is, when I'm making this video, it's before Divi 5 is actually released. But this demo, of course, is available publicly on their website, so it's fair game to kind of look at this, but we do have to keep in mind, and this is important, this is not the final version that I'm actually showing you. It's probably pretty close to the final version, but it's not the final version. So you could be watching this in the future and say, oh, that's different, or that's different, and that's totally expected with something like this where it's even pre-alpha. So I do want to make that clear, but from what it appears, this is pretty much the design of the interface. So I'm not going to be talking so much about the functionality of how things do. I'll mention some, but let's just talk about the actual interface in this video. And I'll be happy to make more videos, maybe even do like a video where it's like a side-by-side comparison of Divi 4 versus 5 or something like that. Or, you know, we'll get into more tutorials about how to use features in Divi 5. But for now, let's look at the design. Well, I see blue. That was different, right? Obviously, in the past, there was purple. But while we're on that topic, why don't I just start out by saying, over here in the builder settings, we'll just scroll down here, and there is a color scheme that was not here before. Now, I could put this to purple, and in fact, I could keep it there just to help us feel maybe more at ease during a transition. There you go. We could do that. There are actually some other colors here. I'll show you. There's green and red and orange. I probably expect everyone will be using blue and purple. All right, so over here on the blog post, I'll try to follow that maybe. So I have, first thing I mentioned here is the page settings location. And we're gonna kind of look at like the left side and the top bar for right now. So let's do that. So over here, this side here is the page settings that's open. So we'll start in the top left corner. This is the gear icon, and that is opening up the page settings. So page settings referring to, you know, the name of the page, the excerpt, the image, background color, that kind of thing. And then right beside it is the name of the page, and that's coming from WordPress. So you can see it also over here. Let's go on the left side. So we have the layers panel, and you're probably familiar with that a little bit from before. We also have the wireframe view. Now that's just the view where you see the sections, rows, and modules, and that's always a really convenient view sometimes. And you can actually see like when you put labels in here, admin labels, so there's that. And you can just click it again to get back. All right, and then there's some new options. We'll talk about these in more detail. Here's the actual like builder settings, and here's the help window. All right, we'll talk about more of that later. So up here on the top is the responsive options. We'll talk about that also. And then here's a toggle. Now this is only for the builder interface, of course, the light and dark mode. It's not affecting your actual content. And up here we have your normal page settings, you know, importing, exporting, clearing, saving to library. We do have a new exit button and a preview button, and here is the save button. Now, docking, you may have already noticed that might be one of the first things you notice. The windows can dock like when you drag them. So when I, like, for example, close the page settings by just clicking on it, and then let's say I open it again and I'm moving around in here, or let's say I open a normal module here, I can drag it to the right side and it docks. I can drag it out, and then I could even drag it over here in this like sidebar area. Now the layers are below it and the modules above it, and that's very similar to Photoshop if you're familiar with or any Adobe product. I can drag it back out here. I think I can drag it on, oh, I see. So if I didn't have layers open, yeah, it would just be like the whole side. So docking, there you go, left or right. You can actually resize this. So I don't know what it will be at default, but that's a nice thing to know. You might need to resize the dock, and you can just drag it like that, okay? All right, I already mentioned the tabbed windows, sort of. Let's look at that a little more. So if you have layers open, see how it's like a tab here a little bit. Let's see, is there another one that would work? See, some of this stuff is still pre-alpha. There we go. So there we have layers and help within like these tabs. It's very much like how like Photoshop would work. All right, so here's something that will definitely appear different visually. I'm gonna close that. When I go here and click this add new module button, which by the way, you can see there's a few changes in like how I think the colors, this is a darker gray, this blue is a darker blue, and then this green is a slightly different green. Little things like that, right? But when you click to add a new module, this screen, it feels very much more like the Gutenberg block editor, for better or for worse, okay? I personally certainly miss some of the very familiar Divi styling, but it's just something that someone like me will have to get used to. I don't necessarily like it, but it is what it is. It'll be fine. So here we go. Now we have 3 columns wide. I think they probably have a few bugs to work out, but 3 columns wide. You can still search. So if I type in blurb, everything works. Here's load from library. It opens this screen. I really, really miss the dark color at the top. So many white. It's just, anyway, I'll limit my opinion. Another thing here, you can open windows by double clicking. A couple of important parts when you're editing. So if I'm hovering over here, now you could always do that before, but notice this text module opened, and you may notice there's no like green check mark and red X at the bottom. See that? See when I'm dragging this around, resizing it, whatever. In the past, you would have like the X here, you'd have undo, redo, and then the green check mark. So if I want to get out of this module, I have to click the X, okay? There's also breadcrumbs, which could be helpful. Notice how, you know, you have the hierarchy. You obviously have the section and then the row inside the section, and then columns inside the row, right? Because you have your column structure, or maybe more clear that way. And then you have the modules inside that. So notice when I'm in this text module, I could actually click column. Well, now I'm editing that column. That's pretty cool. If I know that I'm like in this here and I want to jump to the section, just click that. I think that's convenient. You can't really go back to the module from there, but you know, if I'm in here, when I go to row, there we go. The fact that I keep going back to this page settings, I think is a glitch, but maybe that's how it's supposed to be. Now, I already mentioned color scheme. You can change it from the blue or purple, green, orange, and red. There are some very important responsive editing changes, and you may have already actually picked up on it if you saw. So if I'm in any module like this, notice there's this little like drop down thingy right here beside the tab. So we had content, design, and advanced tabs. That's, you know, certainly still the same. So if I change to tablet, you'll also notice up here, this changes. If I change to phone, it's up here. You probably remember going into the design tab, like let's say I want to change the text size, right? So if I'm changing the heading text size, you used to be able to come into like heading text, right? And say a certain size on desktop, certain size on the tablet tab, and then on the phone tab. Well, they're not here anymore. See, that for each individual setting, they're not here anymore. They're here. So that is definitely going to take some adjustment because we've sort of been trained to go in there and it only enabled the option when we're editing that tab. So now it's and we've been telling people that for years because this is like a big confusion point with Divi. Now, if I am just wanting to edit this text and I want it to be different on each device, I will simply change the actual view. If I want it to change on tablet or phone, I literally change it and just change the setting. Let's do it. So I will make this just really small to prove my point. There I'm on phone, right? Here I'm on tablet. I want it to be yellow. And here I'm on desktop. And I want it to be green. And I want it to be, really big. Now, I can just go back and preview them. See that? It does it based on what view I was viewing when editing. Again, this is exactly what we've been telling people how it doesn't work. Now we're going to have to start telling people and educating people that's how it does work. So, yeah, that's a big change. All right, so button to exit the visual builder. Well, that's up here in this bar at the top. And the reason we need that, if you didn't notice, there's no admin bar. I don't know what to feel about that. I'm definitely going to miss it. We'll definitely restore it in my Divi Assistant plugin for sure. We'll add that feature. But to exit the builder now, the button is like kind of within their interface rather than in the WordPress admin bar. For now, who knows? That could change, I guess. The preview button, we don't know what that does at this point. I'm guessing. I'm just gonna guess. I mean, this could change in 2 days from now. I'm guessing that's gonna open a new tab. So on the blog post, I found this in the changelog that was referenced. A page bar button was added to preview the current state of the builder on the front end. I assume that's similar to how the block editor works, where it will open a new tab to just view it. All right, so interaction mode. That's when we're interacting with the modules and sections and rows in the builder. Now, Divi has actually always had this interaction mode. We just didn't really call it that. I don't think anyone called it that. It's kind of been reevaluated in Divi 5. There's these icons on the left, all right? So they're meant to act now as layers. Previously, you would either have the grid mode, the hover mode, or the click mode, right? See how you hover? You're seeing the module. So that's because of this here, right? Action icons on hover. So if I turn that off, when I hover over these modules, you don't see them. You don't see like the gear icon, the duplicate, and that kind of thing, right? So if I turn it on, see that? And you could turn it off and double click and always get back in here, right? The second one is parent action items on hover. So the section and the row. So if I turn that off, it's only showing the current one. See I'm on the section, now I'm on the row, now I'm on the module. Parent action items on hover. See how it's showing section, row, and module when I'm only on the module? Or here I'm only on the row, but it's showing section and row, okay? And the point of it is to have these on together or not. I think I would always want this one on, the action items on hover, I think. I don't think you would ever want that one off, but this one on. I don't know. I don't know which one I like. I feel like I'm probably more used to, like, if I'm only hovering over that, I want to see that. I don't want to see these other ones, probably for me. Now there's this new X-ray, and it kind of just adds like these little real thin outlines just to see like where are the bounds of that element? Where are the bounds of the, how wide is this text module, for example, compared to the row? See that? It's kind of nice. Now it's certainly not wireframe mode, right? That's completely different. But it's just that little, like, I don't know. I think that could be useful to see, like, when you're adjusting spacing or like sizing, how wide did I make something? That could be nice. Now, yeah, I wanted to mention this. One of the things that could be confusing if you had this turned off, you may say, well, how do I get in there? Well, you can always right click anywhere. So here are these like extra options, like the contextual options. That would be the same as if you clicked here on these three dots, right? See that? You can right click anywhere, and you could do that in Divi 4 too. But my point of mentioning it is that it could be more needed now if you have that off. You know what I mean? Then you would need to obviously right click. All right, that's just kind of a quick overview of the interface. More than likely I missed something, and if I did, hey, just let me know in the comments. If you're watching this in the future, well, I'll kind of bear that in mind that I'm working in the past. I'm working in the present, but you know what I mean. So yeah, be sure to let me know, comments, and hey, if I need to update this, I will. If you need more videos like going over a specific feature, let me know. I would love to hear that. And yeah, just go check out the Elegant Things blog. You know, look at the monthly updates for Divi 5. If you're new to like this whole Divi 5 thing, you can actually catch up by viewing. Let's see, if you go to Elegant Themes, Divi-5, I believe. Yeah, here we go. It talks all about it, you know, what it is, it explains it, gives all kind of information. It even gives like this little bit of like a roadmap, what's going on, and here are the monthly updates. So that's a really good place to go. All right, if you're new to the channel, definitely subscribe. We actually do a Divi related tutorial every single week. And there are hundreds of them because we've been doing it for like, I don't know, is it 4 years, 5 years? So subscribe, join us all, and go check out our website. We have like over a dozen Divi plugins and our membership. All right, we'll see you all in the next video.